What is it about society that disappoints you so much? What is it about society that disappoints you so much?
building foundations we felt were strong. It's not just a flaw in the system, it is the system. And it breaks us, piece by piece.
Hello, hello, hello. Still a little too loud. Hey there, everyone. Can you hear me? Am I coming through? Can everyone hear me out there in TV land? Alright. So that band that's playing is fucking amazing. I found them today. I feel stupid for not knowing about them before because, well, I love thrash metal. I love metal in general. Not just limited to that, but I just have a deep love for metal. But thrash metal is probably like in my top 3 favorite genres. I haven't decided what number 1 is, but I really love thrash metal. If I had a band and I were to do anything for, like, even just write lyrics, it would be for a thrash metal band. That would be awesome to write lyrics for a thrash metal band. Anyway, but this is Schizoid. I didn't know about this band. This album's called Violence Prevails. It just came out this year, and I guess they've had some other albums. It was just like a happy accident, but apparently, I don't normally care about like stuff that's related to like my ancestral country. But this is pretty cool. I was like, okay, that's kind of based, because it's like a, you know, thrash metal, anti-establishment, government corruption, destroyed all. Probably got some anarchist shit going in there from my home country of Costa Rica. So I've never heard of, I didn't even know there was much of a metal scene out there. So I know Brazil's got a lot going on, and Venezuela, and even Mexico. But I hadn't heard any metal bands out of Costa Rica. It's a tiny fucking country. It is like minuscule. Look it up. Look up Costa Rica. It is small. It is like one of the smaller Central American countries. If you like rainforests and shit. Oh, hey, Cracker Chip. If you like rainforests and shit, Costa Rica's a place for you. It's got a lot of tourism and a lot of really cool animals. It's like one of those countries that has like so much biodiversity in like one small like country. It's crazy. Like people go, like entomologists go there just to look for the bugs and stuff there. It's like one of those places where like they have all these weird like plants and rare fucking bugs and all kinds of shit. And you know, just if you like rainforest shit, that's the place. That's it's a little patch of crazy rainforest land. So it's got that going for it. That's where my I guess I don't really have like a draw to want to like go see my family over there. Like I'm not really like into like ancestral stuff very much. Never have. I just always felt like it's kind of like disconnected from me. Probably comes with the territorial Zoid action, but the one thing I always thought was cool that I mentioned before is that like I come from a line of well, on my mother's side I come from a line of gravekeepers, crypt keepers, and gravekeepers, just fucking metal. So that part's cool as shit. And it was cool because like I always had like particular attraction to spooky places such as that. Used to hang out in those places by myself, reading books, and being all a fucking little edgy weirdo. You know, more than 20 years ago. Jesus, I feel so fucking old. But anyway, yeah, they're from Costa Rica. And it's fucking fire ass album. Anyway. So, yeah, let me turn that down. I really love it, but let me turn it down. There we go. That's good. All right. Couple things. What was I gonna mention besides me just glazing fucking on Chemicide here? Great band. Wait, it's Iberian? That's not right. Oh no, that channel is Iberian. Never mind. Latin and Iberian. Okay. That's a cool channel, by the way. It just has Latin and Iberian metal. ADHD's kicking in. Hold on. Let me get my head on straight. All right. What am I talking about? Oh, now I remember. Okay, so I didn't really have much in mind today, but then somebody reminded me of something that I thought would be a good topic for old angst here. So generally, I'll start with whatever it is I want to talk about, and if it, for probably like half an hour or so, if there's a conversation to be had regarding it, we'll just do that. If there isn't much going on as far as conversation, like somebody jumping on wanting to talk about it or whatever, then we'll go with what do you call it? Some other bullshit I have to say about something else. Because that's basically what I do on Tuesday. I talk about some schizoid stuff, or I talk about other shit, or I give you my dumb fuck take on something or another. It's very simple. It's very simple. And if anybody wants to jump on the live stream, just jump on the Annex. It's on the Annex live stream. If you're already a schizoid, you should be able to jump on there, okay? If there's any problem, like it doesn't let you unmute yourself, tell me, and that way I can like make it happen or whatever. Like if you want to jump in here, I always appreciate conversation. I know you're thinking a schizoid that appreciates conversation. I said I appreciate conversation. It doesn't mean I appreciate having people around me all the time. So I just like topics. I like conversations about things. That's because I learn that way. I'm an auditory learner. So conversations are like probably the fastest way that I start picking up on new information and new ideas start developing in my brain. The moment that's done, I mean, see you later. Bye. So yeah. So today I wanted to talk about the words, the cursed words, power. The reason I wanted to talk about that is because somebody in the server used two words that I automatically felt like and it was just weird because like when I read them, I could feel in my stomach like a visceral reaction. And it's funny because I knew they were kidding, like they were being sarcastic or whatever, they're like fucking around. But like I could feel something in my gut just going like no, like no. Right? I don't know. And do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you know where I'm going here? Words to make your guts go no. Right? And so in my case, they jokingly said like that they were, something along the lines of like I have fans and that they're loyal. And it was absolutely a joke. I want to make that clear. But those words, both of them, just like, ugh, ugh. And I was just like, why am I having that reaction? Like, I know it's sarcasm, fucking around, but, and then even fucking Shadow followed up with some more. What did they say? More words that make me like, it makes me like literally queasy. Like, oh, hold on, my little one. Ah. Give me 1 sec. Anyway. Okay. Sorry about that. It's just, usually around this time, that's when my 4-year-old comes in and she's like, Daddy! And sometimes she sneaks up on me. You probably heard her. Anyway. So, as I was saying, Shadowfall here, a regular on the, my unofficial, co-host. Yeah, of course. Of course, you self-absorbed fuck. Of course, your neurons activate when you hear your name. But let me see here. How did they word it exactly? I want to get grossed out again. Because the thing about Shadow is, if somebody does something that bothers me, like words that make me go like barf, they automatically move in and make it worse. They like doing that. They followed up with the other comment. They said, the adoring fans love their king. All hail Angst, king of Zoids. Okay. It's like, right? And he does it on purpose because he knows, like, no matter how much I know, like, it's just something in my fucking brain, my guts, that don't like that shit. And like, it's weird because I know, like, I often wonder, you know, there's the whole schizoids are indifferent to praise and criticism. I'm pretty indifferent to criticism. I don't display my aversion to praise, but internally I have an aversion to praise of that kind, especially. I don't mind if I was genuinely trying to be nice and praise. Shut the fuck up. Shadow, you're fucking shit posting fuck. Anyway. Stop, please. Do you want me to fucking boot you from the chat? Do you really need me to do this? Joe Mama? That's Shadow, by the way. Shadow's Joe Mama. Oh, really? Oh, God. Now you have to say it like that. That's terrible. Okay, anyway. So I wanted to know a little bit about, like, your experiences, anybody else's experiences. If there's certain words that just, they give you, like, a visceral reaction. It might be due to your defenses. It might be because there's, like, a negative association to those words. That's pretty justifiable, especially if you're traumatized. Like, you know, somebody says something like, it doesn't have to be in this context. They're like, wow, you're a really great guy. Like, somebody tells me that in real life or something. Like, it just, like, my body just goes like, no. Heavy is the head that wears a crown. Oh my God, stop. Anyway, why do I tell you people these things? Anyway, so like, words like that, like, I have like a reaction to them. Even when like my mom, right? Like, she'll be like, oh, you're this or you're that. Even when I was like younger, I'd just be like, yeah, no. And so, like, sometimes I'll see a comment or something like that. And look, I'm not saying, oh, don't do that, it triggers me. But, like, no, it's just more like, it's just an interesting thing, right? Because I know there's, like, people that are, like, less zoidy that watch my shit because, you know, they relate to something or they know somebody that is, and they'll make comments like that. They'll say something like, oh, man, it's so great you're doing this. Oh, you know, this really, like, wow, you're doing amazing work. And I'm like, cool. That's how it feels. The community for all its aversions to emotions and social stuff really like inoffensive shit posting. I don't have queasy words, but I do feel cringed out with people displaying affection and romance to others. That I just kind of like ignore personally. I just go like, okay. Like, I get it, because, like, you know, I managed, like, I don't make me tell the whole story again, how I managed to find a woman that wanted to marry me. And, for that matter, a woman I wanted to marry. But let's just say I married a dismissive avoidant, and so that's probably what helped a lot. But anyway, continuing on, why did I get distracted by that? Yeah, like, there are certain, flattery is usually a form of control. I can never trust those motherfuckers. I think it's something like that. Benadryl, you're on the money. I think it's and it's not. Well, it can be used as a form of control, but flattery is often it's just flattery, right? It's just a person expressing a positive comment about something about you, or and then there comes another problem, right? Because a lot of schizoids mask, so right. So if they tell you that they think you're really cool or like you or something, usually maybe it's like the persona you're putting forward, because like you're masking, because like, you know, you can't be yourself, because then that would cause problems, because people would be like, wow, you're rude. You don't want to see me all the time? Wow, you're rude. You don't care about this? You're uninterested in that? You'd rather like go home and read a book? What? Asshole. So yeah, masking, and they might like that part, right? And I've had that one where like I'm like at a thing and I'm like charismatic or whatever, and people are like, "Oh, you're so funny, man. You're such a cool guy. You should always come to these events." And I'm like, "Yeah." Like internally, it's like, "Yeah, yeah." Right? Can you trust them without flattery? I don't. I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. I generally loathe appreciation, especially how often people give it to me. It's signaling too much emotional commitment in the past and disappointment when I didn't reciprocate. Yeah, see, that's the thing. There's a lot of reasons a schizoid doesn't really like certain words, especially in association to them, right? Like being told, and like I said, there's two kinds, right? There's this like, there's a combination of this like discomfort because of your own trauma, feeling like, oh, it's engulfing. Oh, it's engulfing when somebody like says something like really sincerely nice to you. And then there's also like the other part of like, wait, I'm confused. Is this control? Are they trying to take my autonomy? Are they trying to control me? But like either one, both of them is like a feeling of loss of control, right? Whether the person's sincere or if the person's like trying to be like, you know, kiss up or something, or try to get on your good side, right? I don't know which one is. I think the sincere one is like has more of an effect on me than the shifty one, right? The shifty one I kind of expect. It bugs me, but I'm like, yeah, okay, bud, like, right? I'm just like, yeah, okay. But when it's sincere, then I'm like, that's nice. Like, what are you supposed to do? Like, how do you tell somebody, right? That's why a lot of schizoids have to know. How do you tell somebody, hey, I prefer if you didn't say nice things about me like that, especially sincere ones. But I'm obviously, like, I've gotten past a lot of that stuff. So when somebody says that now, I respectfully accept it. Usually. But or I'll make a self-deprecating joke. That's actually the way I manage like uncomfortable forms of like even sincere flattery. I just kind of use self-deprecation as a means to just like no, thank you. And it's not even like one of those things like, because there's some people that don't like that stuff because they feel like they don't deserve it, or like they have like, you know, they bad object themselves, so then like when they hear something positive about themselves they might feel like no, I'm not, don't say that about me, you don't know I'm a terrible person, or something like that, right? So there's that. But in the schizoid case, in my opinion, well, at least in my case and a lot of the ones I hear, it's more of a like, nah, don't acknowledge me like too much and stuff, because like I'ma just like fade into the darkness later, so I don't need you trying to find me, please. So there's that, right? I think a lot of Zoids are coming from that direction. I've expressed this aversion with some friends, and we agreed upon them not caring about establishing a connection. We both respect how we express ourselves without any strings. Badass. That is a hard thing to find. You have some fucking cool friends, Shadow. Like I said, Shadow, I've told you a million times. You fucking gambled, and there was no man in your case. Every instance of people trying to elicit an emotional reaction is suspicious. It can be. Jesus Christ. Oh, you found him? Give me his coordinates. Yeah, and I get it. It can elicit suspicion. It can elicit some kind of thing. And I can absolutely understand why. But like specific words. Oh, I didn't even know I was like. All right, let me forgot to undeafen myself just in case Shadow wants to hop in. So.
Morning.
So yeah, like words like, you know, some Zoids will be like love, romance, friendship. Some of those words might sound like, like verboten, you know? He's in my heart. He's in me. I met a guy once that said that's what he was into. Anyway.
This story.
Oh, yeah, that story. There was, like, literally a guy that said that. Like, that was his whole deal. Like, he was talking about a bunch of stuff like that, and then, like, we, like, asked, like, about some stuff, and then he literally described that that's what, like, they felt was happening.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this isn't metaphor.
No. This is, like, raw and passionate. I'm kidding. So, I don't know. Pretty wild. Anyway, let's drop that. It was a long time ago. What, like a year and a half ago or some shit? I don't know.
Easily.
But yeah, do you guys have those words, like, or phrases? Does it, like, is it worse when it's sincere flattery, or is it worse when it's, like, fake bullshit? I feel like it's worse when it's sincere.
It's always worse when it was sincere, because then it seems like, how do you accurately convey to someone who seems like a very decent person that you would care about in an abstraction, right? Because while I don't personally care about a lot of things, or a lot of people for that matter, I do care about the abstractive, general, other person I'm talking with, right? Like, I still have empathy, I still have decency and a moral compass. So you have someone that's, you see, genuinely expressing themselves, genuinely being a good, decent person.
Yeah. More
so than average, even. And now you're going to be the thing that lets them down because you can't communicate to them in a way that they understand. That's the hang up, right?
I think that's part of it. It's also the
ability to articulate.
It's also the engulfment as well. Of, like, it's a combination of, like, oh, I'm gonna disappoint, like, I don't know what they're doing, and also, like, I don't want to have to, like, play the part. I don't want to have to be that person. I'm not that person, and it's like, yeah, it's scary because of the autonomy stuff the schizoid deals with. I mean,
it's only scary if, as I was saying before, it's only scary if I feel like I cannot have the conversation that would explain it to them, which for a very long time I did, and I'm one of the lucky few that ever even kind of break out of that and have people that do understand me in a way that does make sense, right?
Yeah.
And people that have that metacognitive ability.
Benadryl Angel. Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I said, Benadryl Angel says, I hate the phrase, thank you for all that you do. That one's bad. I don't like that one either. That one's like a weird blend of like corpo and sincerity and sincere, and depending on who says it, and it's like,
you know what I've noticed?
Yeah.
One of the things that I see when people, schizoids, especially on the server, talk about when they discuss these aversions to these positive comments, is their immediate reaction very frequently is debating the accuracy of the statement, because it's not the statement itself they have a problem with, right? It has nothing to do with the praise or the degradation. It has everything to do with being seen accurately, which they feel they are not.
Well, yeah, because they're usually not presenting accurately if they are presenting as well. So that's like that's the issue there. Like, it's like self-induced in some respects.
Like a phrase where someone, like, say, "Oh, you're very intelligent," or "You're a very kind person," they'll debate the accuracy of the comment because they feel that they are still being quote unquote dehumanized in a way that's not accurate to their character, and is more so calling them a good person feels like it's reducing them as a person to an expression of kind. So when they're not kind, all of a sudden now that they're a bad object and they get split on, which technically isn't the case with most people, because most people don't do the splitting thing.
Yeah.
But that's their experiences of it, right? So being called a kind person means that when they're not kind, that person will suddenly see them as a bad object and suddenly will be malicious towards them, which is indicative of that disordered perception that they've experienced likely within their own family.
Yeah.
And it's just a continuation of that.
I mean, it's just an extension. That's the whole point, right? And it's not just family, right?
Yeah.
It's peers and other stuff, like whatever was fucking with their
Yeah,
head growing up.
Absolutely.
Because, well, here, look, there's some good stuff in here, because, let's see here, Active says, what's funny is that, Active said, right before you said the thing about the accuracy, he said, as if they, because Benadryl said, thank you for all that you do, and then he said, as if they even know all you do.
That's what I was looking at.
That literally
That's
just
what
happened to me and my friend. I haven't spoken to him in 8 years. Randomly called and left an extra moist. Ugh, moist? Is that what you call him? VM. I appreciate your friendship, yada yada. I still consider him a friend, but that was super moist and way too much. I just can't. Benadryl, I feel like they're making demands on me. Don, if they're genuine, backed up by real reciprocity of actual helpful actions, and it's obvious that there are no covert expectations attached, it's tolerable in moderation. Doesn't happen often, so a moot point. Yeah, like I guess it depends on like the Zoid, because like a lot of schizoids will have like stronger or like I think it's like it's a combination of like the type and the strength of their like suspicions and everything else in association, because like Benadryl's describing like someone saying even a sincere thing to them is like they're making demands, right? So that's more of like an engulfment type concern.
But that's also leaning into what I was talking about earlier, where if you're being praised, now you feel like you have to stay in that good object space, because if you're not that, then they'll immediately split on you, and that'll
cause you problems. Like it'll just cause you.
They'll they'll have this malice towards you because you're not kind anymore, and now it feels like an obligation to be kind, or else they will do something to you.
Well, yeah, because it's like, I thought you were a nice guy. It's like, how many things does being a nice guy entail, right? Like, how do you define a nice guy, right? Like, I saw you needed help with something. I offered my help out of my own volition. I'm moving on now. Does me not wanting to continue conversation and being around you after I do the thing make me not nice? Now I'm a bad person. And it's like, all right, cool. Like, it's like, it oftentimes, engulfment's a really good word. Yeah, it's an absolutely good word. But oftentimes it's like, I don't know, it feels like a lot of people, if they view you as like good and bad, depending on how you presently make them feel. And that's that's kind of like what's crazy to me. Like, it's
that
like
only feeds the perception of being seen as an object, right? So that only furthers the feelings of engulfment.
Yeah, it's like
feelings of manipulation and invasion, etc.
Yeah, and then like I think when it's like I said, there's kind of two, because there are people that are genuine and they're not doing that, and so like that engulfment or whatever is coming from like, I don't want to hurt this person. This is a good person, or like I can't do this. Like I don't want to. I can't be that person for you. Like it's just that feeling. So it's not always like a suspicion for everyone.
But even in the context of someone not wanting to hurt that person, it's still predicated on the implication that they can't communicate with them, and they won't listen to them, right?
I was focusing on suspicion. Like I don't think suspicion counts every time.
I mean, there's still, yeah. I guess you would be right that there's no suspicion.
Like every time,
I still have the
suspicion
emphasis on. What I'm still emphasizing is other people cannot accurately understand the schizoid as anything more than what they're not.
But that's what's crazy is like, but if I would feel that a lot of schizoids, if they're recognized for what they are and still given that sort of appreciation or whatever, or something nice said to them, I think even that could be really overwhelming and uncomfortable, and it even if it is coming from a place of being seen correctly.
Oh, absolutely. But then you can manage that by understanding that it's not emanating from the person, but now it's emanating from your past experiences,
Yeah.
which is technically still different.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you realize that, that is technically a really good step, because that's, you know, you're establishing that some people are trustworthy and don't do that, and you're now realizing that the source of this problem is within yourself that you can manage and define easier. So even that is a progressive step.
Benadryl asks, how do you know when it's genuine? Well, I'll try to answer part of that, and then maybe you can give it a shot. Okay, I'll just describe what I go through, Tim, for it to be genuine, like when it becomes genuine. And it's not even just genuine, it's like, it's not my mask or anything, right? So, number one, I'm obviously not presenting that to that person. Number two, they're not doing the same. Number three, takes years, usually. Like, at least a year and a half, 2 years. It depends. I would say it depends on how much communication is going back and forth. And then also, it's about actions, right? Are they respecting my boundaries? Are they not actually demanding emotional things from me? Like they state they're not interested in receiving, or they're willing to respect. Are those actions actually being done, right? And if those actions are being done for an extended period, and you're obviously being respectful to them, but they understand that you can't quite reciprocate everything that they might want in a conventional friendship. It's even better if they have like the same standard, right? That's why it's fun to, make a friend or whatever on the Zoidoid, because there's this like kind of lack of, between two Zoids that are like, yeah, it's cool, we just hang out and it's fine, and talk about stuff, and we're glad the other person exists, and like, there's no demand of like, we have to see each other every week, or we have to do this, or we have to hang out. It's not a have to situation. For me, that's when it feels genuine enough for me. But it takes a while. Like, one of the things that really makes me like, ugh, is if somebody like telling me they're saying genuine things to me and I haven't made that assessment at all. Like, if anyone says I'm being genuine, that makes me suspicious. Like, automatically, I'm like, why do you have to say that?
Yeah, like affirming a sort of, yeah, that's definitely gonna raise a red
This is
flag
really
myself.
coming from the heart. This is really genuine. I'm like,
generally that, like, I've heard that be a red flag for, I don't want to stereotype, but definitely it's a red flag for people that
have certain issues,
are relatable to the borderline personality disorder. That
well, but with them, they
extreme
actually mean it though. That's the difference.
Yeah, but like it's
They
still
actually mean
an
it.
apparent
It's not like
a
a
pattern.
Yeah, it's not. But in the case of the BPD, it's not like they're being like scheming with it or like manipulative. They're like literally like they mean it, and that's part of the issue.
But in the same context that schizoid personality disorder has this damaged object relations, so too do them, which is still going to have problems down the line.
Oh yeah. Established over many interactions, I still misread since I'm this. The ones who get close that really do damage. You can judge someone's character consistency over time, but the dynamic changed in passive interactions. Trust me, the fatal words. So like, yeah, I'm hearing like as far as what somebody said something established over. Oh yeah, here's another way that for me to like I discovered works for me as somebody that has these defenses and stuff. It's like I if I'm gonna have that, if I'm going to even attempt that kind of like openness or whatever, I establish beforehand like my parameters and everything, right? And then they establish theirs, and then we go, hey, that works for both of us, great. And like I said, that continues, and there's not much of a breach of any kind. And if there is any kind of a breach or miscommunication, right, in that, it's just immediately talked about. It's immediately said. I know, but the problem is a lot of Zoids will have trouble saying it because they have the past experience of seeing their discomfort with something and then it turning to shit really fast. And like, getting split on, right, or whatever. And so, but like if you could say to somebody, like a friend, somebody that's a friend to me, I could tell them like, hey, like I prefer you don't like include me in this this idea that you're talking about or something, or like that doesn't include me. Why are you making it sound like it is? And if they're like, oh no, I didn't, and blah blah blah, and then I'm like, okay, and then I'll, as long as it doesn't continue happening, then I'll know that was the case, right? Stuff like that. Like it's just immediately being able to just ask the question if there's a misunderstanding is great.
Yeah,
and,
the feeling of being able to express yourself and being actually heard and understood. Yeah, no kidding, that's great, huh?
And
It'd
not
be great if more
well,
people did
and
that.
it's not like they're not trying to sugarcoat. There's nothing worse than people sugarcoating things for you. That's hard. Like that's already like a form of like, I don't know.
Reduction.
Yeah, like or deception or something. But because like I get why a lot of people need stuff sugarcoated, right? Like I get it. Most humans like their shit sugarcoated. They prefer you go easy. And I'm not saying be rude and be a dick, right? I'm saying like I think most schizoids prefer just like sincerity and honesty, like just straight up. Without obviously being like fucking actively malevolent. And
If it's a one-off thing, I think you can certainly respect that. Like, if you had that conversation with someone, be like, "Oh, I understand that you're doing this, and I probably understand that you're doing this because you genuinely do care for my well-being, and I appreciate that, but I'm fine." And then they stop, and then everything's right in the world, and now you've just had a positive.
It's when they don't
experience with
stop that
someone
there becomes a
that
problem.
tries.
It's when they don't stop. Then that's when oh, this isn't going to work.
Well, if they don't stop, then now it really is like something about them is kind of reducing you because you've had that conversation, right? So there is something going on.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's no more like it's the same kind of like quote unquote what sort of demands. Maybe it sounds like it would sound like a demand to you, Benadryl, since you mentioned like obligation and demand, right? It's like an alternative way of having like parameters for being able to have like a closer connection with another human being. Just the way like other people that aren't Zoids or whatever, they have their way, right? So their way might require, or they might want the things for each other that would make a lot of schizoids go, no, 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 right? And so, but being able to express your boundaries and then that person agreeing or disagreeing to partake in being around somebody that has those boundaries, that's the same kind of social contract that's kind of happening. It's just really idiosyncratic. It's just a very eccentric, very unconventional sort of social contract between two people that allows connection because respect is being mutually mutually what? Mutually responded to? I don't know. But yeah, so when I see somebody go like, if I know somebody, huh?
Mutually reciprocated.
Yeah, reciprocated. That's perfect. I just reciprocated. It's fine. But like if I see a person that's not nothing like me, and they're like, oh, they're talking about how like, if they're gonna be friends with somebody, they really need to know that person will be around at least once in a while, because otherwise they just don't feel connected to that person or something like that, right? To me, that sounds like I'm good, but that's normal for a lot of people. And then the person that would want to return that would also have the same expectation, right? And so then it wouldn't be either one of them demanding anything from each other, because it's like a mutual need that they have. And then within that, well, we're talking about schema too, but within that schema, it functions, right? And it's healthy, right? Obviously, when it gets too crazy, it can get unhealthy, even if both people are willing to fulfill each other's demands. Then it gets like something else, right? But on average, right, some of those demands aren't really demands to the people experiencing them. Now, those things sound like demands and feel like demands to a schizoid for sure, because uh, the other person will usually want to reciprocate by giving you the very things you don't want or that would cross your boundaries, right?
Generally, the kind of condition that I would qualify for something to start sounding like a demand now, after having so much experience and introspection and understanding into the schizoid condition, is things that only feel engulfing are when, or like manipulative, are people that base these demands because of an insecurity that they are unwilling to confront.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like controlling them more so than they are controlling it. And that's when I start to say, no, this is not okay, because this isn't who you are. This is a pathology manifesting in you, and I'm not going to engage with this. I'm not going to perpetuate it. I don't want to be a part of it. That.
Yeah.
But there's people that, if they understand that they have a predilection for something because of trauma, that can still be a healthy management of it and not be considered a pathology if that awareness and respect is given, and I see that in them.
Yeah.
Which makes me all the more willing to engage with them, because it doesn't feel like I'm being coerced into this cycle.
Correct. Yep. That's all on the money. All on the money.
So the same action that would have felt like a demand, and I would have said absolutely no, with an actual understanding and work on their part and cognition on their part, metacognition, thank you, on their part, I will be more naturally willing to engage with them, even though it's the same complete action I would otherwise have said no.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's funny. It's like you're my autistic translator.
There's a lot of different translators. I really...
Yeah, we need more translators.
I probably shouldn't say that during this stream, or maybe I should.
Well, don't say their name or username, obviously.
No, absolutely not. I am going to express my appreciation in a robotic tone to dilute the emotional impact on the people if they
it's
watch
making
the stream.
making it even worse. All right, because you're being considerate by doing that. But continue.
Oh, eat a dick.
Present
But
it.
I appreciate that there are other translators on the server, because my method of translation does not reach through to everybody, and nor do many other translators reach through to me. But it seems like we have a very wide group of perspectives that can cover the ground that I can't, and I can cover the ground that they can't.
Thank you for your TED Talk.
You're welcome. So if anybody was encouraged or discouraged because they felt like they wouldn't be understood, I'd challenge that.
There you go. And I will challenge it as well. Let's see here. I actually want to fuck with some of the stuff in chat here.
I want to fuck with everything.
Yeah, well, yeah. Sometimes I wonder how people have the energy required to the exhaustive social interacting. Are people secretly smoking crack, or am I that lethargic? No. If you're asking me, especially when you're talking about schizoid shit, I think it's because those people...
There's so many things you can just dump on that comment right now.
Yeah, I know. Or the last time I broke down a rock, if you know what I mean. So those people, when they're doing these things that look exhausting to you, if it's a healthy reciprocal kind of connection and friendship or whatever they have, they energize each other by doing those things that look exhausting to you, right? And I'm not saying that the fact that those things look exhausting to you means that you're lethargic or that you're like doing it wrong. It's just not what you want, and it's not how you.
And also, there's a lot of things taking away your energy that we're not going into deliberation here.
But yeah,
right,
like, you know, all the anhedonia and all that other shit, depression and all kinds of other shit, that you're like, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy looking at my wall. and wondering why I'm still alive or something. So
there's that angle of sometimes that genuinely isn't what gives you energy, and also there are times when it could give you energy if you didn't have so many things taken away from you.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, it's kind of like and it's not a schizoid exclusive thing. That's why I always bring up, and I know I harp on and on about, but that's why I always bring up neurodivergent stuff, because I've talked to a lot of not schizoid autists now, because I'll go into servers, I'll have some discussions, and those people aren't schizoid, but they describe that like talking to people that aren't autistic is draining. It's more difficult. It requires more energy. They have demands regarding friendship and stuff that they have trouble meeting. Sometimes the non-autistic person won't be able to reciprocate the kinds of wants in a friendship that they have, right? So like, I've heard described stuff like, their non-autistic friend wants like more time hanging out and talking about stuff, right? And the autist is like, yeah, but I want more time spent on our mutual like special interests or interests that overlap. And so that's kind of like a not demand, but a stipulation of their own, right? It's like, okay, yeah, it's fine. I can do the whole like, you want to talk about like what's going on with you, and you want my feedback on it and stuff, and you want some back and forth, but you need to be able to do the whole like, I'm just pick a random thing. We have to play like every so often we have to play consistently we have to play like this MMO or like this thing that we both like, and that I get excited about, and so it's when that mutual kind of back and forth isn't occurring properly. Meanwhile, like if you get like an autist and another one and they both have like similar interests, those motherfuckers are just going to be doing that shit all the time, right? Like that's all they're going to talk about. That's all they're going to like spend time doing, and they're going to have a fucking blast, right? And so I think with the Zoid, there's some of that plus a bunch of other layers of sort of like disconnect, because it isn't just, oh, Zoid is neurodivergent. It's not just that. It's Zoid is that, in my opinion, plus trauma, and specific types of trauma and how they defended against it and how they managed it. So, but yeah. It's funny. Some people have told me, like, and I think maybe you have as a joke, Shadow, like that I have like some kind of like fetish for autistic people, which is fucking sounds so gross.
No, I do, but I say that as a joke.
Yeah. I know people.
I understand that this is just the avenue to which you can pursue.
Well, it's just it's the avenue, but also they're really easy to talk to. Like if I go on an autist server and they're like legit autists, and they start talking to me about something that I'm not interested in, I go, oh, I'm not really into that. They usually go like, okay, and then they stop.
Is it particularly difficult to find schizospectrum servers?
Schizospectrum, like on my side of the out, fucking impossible, dude. Are you kidding me?
That's why I was asking why, because I understand I understand the emphasis on autism, because there's genuinely a massive difficulty, if even possible, to find communities that revolve around the other horseshoe. The other end of the horseshoe.
Oh, you weren't here when I mentioned it. Eric came up with two cool words. It was micro and macro associative. I thought that was cool. He was saying the autist is microsociative and the schizo is macrosociative. Okay. I didn't think it was, but because I was trying to come up with words that like could be come up with that are because you can't say schizospectrum. Like,
well, I mean, autism's not going anywhere.
No, right? I know autism's not going anywhere, but schizospectrum doesn't work because there's just too many.
Because it's
too much.
Yeah,
there's too much conflation with so much other things that I think are entirely different issues, right? Like being schizophrenic is not the same thing when I say schizospectrum. So it's kind of weird. So I was just like trying to come up with fucking words, like whatever work, that even if they're not official, I could just use them so I have something, I mean, easier to work with. Because like I said, if I say, oh, I'm schizospectrum to somebody, they're just going to automatically go like, oh, you have schizophrenia. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this kind of macro thinking thing, which is another, and then you have to explain the whole fucking thing every time. And it's like, ugh. And then it's like, oh, that doesn't have, like, that doesn't sound micro and macro associative. Expound on micro. Oh, okay. Well, somebody thought it sounded okay. Anyway, so.
Well, you're both wrong.
Okay.
You're all
so
wrong.
microsociative is kind of like with the autism being like, it's a different way of saying like the hyper concrete, because when you say like concrete thinking, like it means so much different shit, right? But if you say micro, you kind of make it about like not just the concrete, but you're making it about like what the concrete is made up of, right? And so it's that kind of thinking. It's another way to describe bottom up thinking, but to like a significant degree, and that it's intuitive, right? It's not just bottom up thinking. It's that bottom up thinking is where I'm at all the time, and I have to actually make efforts, and it's a skill that I developed to not do bottom up thinking. That's something I had to essentially teach myself, right? And so then macrosociative would be the other side, which would be when your top down thinking is where you're at on an intuitive level.
Is there specific words that you can use to kind of differentiate the two besides concrete and abstract?
That's why I said micro and macrosociative.
Yeah, well, I mean, because if we're using, this is a bit of a tangent, but whatever. I'm going into the etymology of autism, right? And
the Latin.
It's based on it's based on Greek, which is
it's auto self. Auto is self, and tism is condition, or what was it?
Yeah, it's like a
condition. Yeah, no, I actually came up. No, I absolutely came up with that a word with that. I can't remember what it was. I was trying to come up with words with like tism, but like with a different word instead of auto. So I was looking for like outside the self, above the self, like of the like
not of the self,
right? And so like I was trying to come up with like what word would that be, right? And because I consider a lot of people that are diagnosed as schizotypal as essentially like high needs, low functioning schizo people, or whatever I could come up with. So I forgot the word I came up with. I thought it sounded. I was talking to Era about it, and then like again, it was like kind of like you did. Like, I don't like that word. And I'm like, but maybe it's good. But I can't remember what it was. I was trying to come up with like a culmination of those things. Perplexity. I have to say about this. What's perplexity? Ooh. Oh, okay. So that's kind of what I mean, by the way, with macro and microsociative. And that's what I think we were trying to come up with, was because it means about what is intuitive to you cognitively on like a very automatic basis. Like where's your thinking at, like default, right? Your default mode of thinking. Because like, and it's funny, I was actually talking about, I don't know if I mentioned it on stream, but I was trying to like get a hold of a few streamers and like YouTube channel people that are autistic that have talked about bottom up and top down thinking. And even like if you look up the phrase top down thinking or bottom up thinking, you're gonna see like videos about like, oh, bottom up versus top down, bottom up versus top down. And so you're gonna see a lot of videos talking about like, oh, how autistic people and how normal people, or not normal, but you know what I mean, how neurotypical people think, right? And it always bugs me, because whenever I watch those videos, I'm like I feel like that hold my beer moment when they talk about top down thinking. I'm just like, hold my beer, because they talk about it like, oh, the interpersonal world is top down thinking, right? And I'm just like, nah, man, like that's just middle. That's middle down or middle up. That's not top down. What are you talking about? That's not my experience. And so that's kind of what I've been trying to like get a hold of some of them because I want to have that discussion. I'm like, hey, did you ever think that like since there's people that are bottom up thinkers that you often describe are often described as being autistic, that maybe there's top down thinkers that would be something else and would have similar troubles and difficulties? And it's like, yeah, yeah, those people they're real and they exist, and I'm one of them, and that would be a cool talk. And there's others, but yeah, because of how kind of niche, it's not even a niche issue, it's like an unknown issue. Um, and so because of how it's where how are you gonna find a server? Anytime I look for a schizo spectrum server, I'm gonna find nothing. I'm gonna find two things. I'm gonna find like a server that's for schizophrenia, schizoaffective, schizophreniform, all that kind of stuff. So more like positive symptoms related stuff, which is not what I'm talking about. And then I'm gonna find like for Channer shit, like shit poster Channer, political schizo fucking shit, right? Like the word schizo in the and it's not that it's bad, it's like its own subculture, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But it's just that they on the internet, especially in those types of places, they use schizo and autist in this kind of like not what it actually means type way, right? Um, and so like, you know, when somebody says autist, they think like, oh, somebody that just has like a bunch of weird interests that they hyper focus on and they're really good at, and that's it. That's all they like, you know. And then when they say schizo, they think, oh, somebody that thinks the government is after them and believes in conspiracies and thinks about like is into the occult and just goes crazy or something. Just go, oh, going crazy, going schizo. Like, you know, it's just yeah. So that's kind of hard to find anywhere where that could be like a place I could go check out to find people that I can talk to on that level. But the cool thing is that I find some on the Zoidoid because some of the Zoids are schizos like me, and others are autists, and I get along with both of them a lot easier. Um, but anyway, so there's that. And I think the mutual overlap of why it's easier is because of the lack of the push and pull or the needs or lack of needs that the macro or micro social associative person has, right? Like what's the most, like literally like, what's the most an autist will demand of me on average? It'll just be kind of like um oh, if you're gonna call me over or at me or tell me to like come to something, I'm only gonna stay if it's something I'm interested in. Otherwise, I hope you like I want you to respect that I'm gonna leave and I don't care. And that's fine by me because that's easy to work with. It's like okay, right? And you know, it's a easy kind of, and I feel like the people like me would probably have a similar demand.
Ooh.
Huh?
ChatGPT is a great resource, and I
Why?
enjoy all the people that have convinced me to start using it
Oh no, what happened?
because I just straight up asked it, "Hey, what's a good word to use that's the opposite of autism?"
And what did it come up with?
It came up with something that looks pretty cool, like alethic. Comes from the Greek word aletheia, which means truth, and is sometimes used in philosophy to refer to modes of possibility, necessity, and abstract reasoning. It
All right.
implies a cognitive style focused on broad, conceptual, and fluid thinking.
Okay, but how do you say it? What is it? What?
I don't know how you say it. I'm just guessing alethic.
Alethic?
Uh, Alethicism.
Alethic. That sounds almost like athleticism.
You
Aleth.
could probably
I'm an athleticist. No, it doesn't. That's hard.
alethism.
It's gonna be like a tongue
No, it's
twister.
alethism.
Alethism? Alethism.
Yeah.
It doesn't roll off the tongue.
Okay.
Alethism. No, that's important. It has to roll off the tongue.
Well,
Like, are you
fuck you
kidding me?
then.
I mean, like, dude, there's plenty of ones that I'm like, that sounds cool, but I'm like, that's not marketable. No one's gonna say it, and everyone's gonna forget it, and it's not gonna go anywhere, and it's just gonna be some weird niche word that only people that deal with it use because no one's gonna fucking want to use it because it doesn't sound good or something. I hate worrying about those things. I cannot stand it, but that's
I know you're right.
fucking reality.
I don't like that you're right.
Alethetism. Like no one's gonna be saying that. Let me see. Ooh, what do you got? Oh, you got perplexity
cool.
dropping shit. Microsociative refers to detail-oriented, localized focus on social cognitive processing. This aligns with bottom-up thinking. Wait, it's actually saying that? Because are those actual words already? I didn't even know they were words. Are those actual words, or is it just like coming up with the definition for the words? Broader context, autistic individuals often demonstrate style to heightened macrodissociative. Oh,
Macro.
why isn't it just macro-associative? Why is it dissociative? Describes a global
because
big picture.
dissociative.
Dissociative? Let's see here. Global big picture approach to social cognitive processing. This aligns with top-down thinking. Yeah, okay. Macro-dissociative? Schizoid individuals may lean toward the style due to their tendency to abstract and detach from immediate stimuli, focusing on internal frameworks or contexts. But yeah, this is what's interesting. They will match up with either of those things, depending on
Google's not getting me any hits for that.
Okay, that must be. I told it to assume the words are they are words. Oh, okay, got it. So it kind of got the words, and if it like, yeah, there you go. So macro. So I don't like dissociative. I don't know why it says that. I just like macrosociative and microsociative. Adding the do is just complicating things. And so I told it, yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think it makes sense. It thinks that schizoids would be going one direction or the other because of, their disconnect. It hallucinated the spelling based. But I think it's because they already do this because they're neurodivergent in that capacity, and that lends itself to developing a lot of schizoid defenses because of how sensitive they were as kids. And it was funny because earlier Active said, oh, the last time I remember ever being extroverted was when I was 5 years old. I'm like, yeah, there's that. I mean, I'm sure that's kind of like I've talked to more than a few Zoids that are like, oh, I remember I was like a really like outgoing kid when I was really little. And then it stopped. And then I don't remember how that really felt very much. I just know it stopped at some point. And that's actually not that uncommon. Or they were like more vocal about their feelings, or whatever. It depends on their conditions growing up, right? Like that might not be the case for a lot of Zoids if they grew up in an environment that was hostile, like not just in a like the ways I usually describe, but like abusive and shit like that. Maybe they don't have memories like that, in which they were like happy kid or something. LM needs remedial spelling classes, absolutely. But yeah, that's pretty cool. That's it's funny that you asked it if it was words and it said like kind of what we were trying to talk about. But yeah, I think those are pretty good words. I think macro and micro-associative are actually like pretty accurate. And maybe I should start using them, because then people will ask me, what's that? And then I'll say, oh, it's just a word I'm trying to coin. It's not like really like a real word. It's just like it's like a placeholder word that I think works. And it's a lot better than saying like concrete and abstract thinker or thinking, because every human on the face of the planet, for the most part, can do concrete and abstract thinking. So it doesn't really describe. Like, if you want to say it fully, you have to say like, oh, somebody that in which concrete thinking, bottom-up thinking is their intuitive default way of thinking. That's like a fucking mouthful, right? If microsociative basically says that, that makes sense, right? And same thing with macro. And it also brings up another argument, right? Which is like, okay, why can't there be? Why if there's a microsociative way that human beings can, like, in their outliers and they're autistic, why can't there be a macrosociative version of that human being? The human brain is designed to do both things. Why would another side of that coin exist? It wouldn't make sense. Nah, I'm already inhuman enough. We just need to merge with AI. Oh, that's what you said. That I'm like, huh? But anyway, this is Cryptopsy. They're fun. Fun death, gore grind. Yeah, I can't. Did you put it in the chat that word so that they could look at it? The word that
No.
Can you put it? Because somebody
Well,
Don
because I thought it
asked.
was circle. I've already forgotten what it is.
Oh well, it's gone. No, I forgot which word I came up with that I thought sounded better. Like it did roll off the tongue, kind of. Start with like an H or something. But it worked with tism, hysteritism, or I forgot what it was. Let's see here. Let me find it.
Holistism?
Hold on. Let's see here.
Holistism?
No, I don't know what was that. Holistism?
Holistism isn't too bad.
A holist? No, because then people will call you holistist. That's because it works like it works.
Well, because autist is relating to the self, and holist is relating to the bigger.
Yeah, but
picture,
you're
right?
using the word whole. It has to be like.
Well, I don't want to use something that's directly oppositional to autism. That's only existence is defined by its opposite nature. I want it to stand on its own.
Yeah, but that's not marketable. Let's see here.
It's not a marketable plushie, Shadow. It can't work.
Nope, it doesn't sell, Shadow. Doesn't work. You might think it's cute, but nobody else does. What was it? I was looking. I think it was this one. Yeah, I was like looking up words like metaphysics, metaphysical, just to see if anything sounded cool. Yeah, but like it's just a huge word in Latin too, metaphysicalis. I should ask fucking Amy to help me. She's the Latin person. I had to come up with one. Yeah, I can't find the word. I had looked for a certain word and now I can't. Well, this kind of works. Because the word for external is externus. So I don't know if externatist or externatism would work.
I don't like the tism in it because I feel like that's still.
It's marketable.
I mean, maybe.
It's marketable. You have to be
maybe
realistic.
they won't accept it unless they have the branching point of, hey, that sounds like autism.
That's why it's marketable.
But I don't like it because that's.
I know I don't like it either, but that's reality. Reality
right.
sucks. Like honestly, like if you come up with some like weird, unique word, the only people that are going to use it are like the people that like deal with it.
It needs to have that branching off point.
Yeah, it's
gross,
hey,
that sounds like autism. Is
yeah,
it like
it's
kind of like the opposite.
Oh yeah, it's that really deep, big detail, little details they're thinking about really big ones all the time. Yay! Right? It's like
that's a good point. It's a good first stepping stone.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get rid of the word autist because it's not very accurate. Because it implies that it's just about the self exclusively, when the self often extends beyond, your immediate lexical creativity.
I mean, it's right, but
I feel like it's limiting.
I don't.
What the condition word maybe because it implies that it's not a way of thinking, but a condition. It still has like a negative aspect to it, right?
I like that it focuses on the self because the way I've had it described to me that resonates with me is that I extend myself into something else in order for me to more accurately understand it, and that takes more effort than normal. And it is something I can do, and it's something I do very frequently, but that is how I understand the bottom up. I extend myself into the thing I'm perceiving.
Yeah, but I'm saying is that like, if I were to come up with another word for autism that wasn't condition as the second half, but keeping the auto, right, the self part, without it being because the condition implies that like, oh, it's like like it's an unnatural way for a human to like be born or be.
But
Autossociative works.
yeah, but autism is easier, it's shorter.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if we like, because you said it was a stepping stone, right? So I'm like, oh, what could
I
autism
like saying things are. I like shortening the tism. Tism's endearing.
Tism's endearing. Well, there you go. So then we need tism. We need our
I'm trying to
tism.
appropriate my
I'm gonna
wordings.
appropriate your tism. I'm gonna make it something different. There was a word and I liked it too.
I mean, I know you're cool, and I let you use the hard T. You know, I give
The
you
hard
that pass,
T?
but
The
that's
tist?
all you got, man. Don't
You
don't
dirty
start
tist.
appropriating it more.
That's,
Don't push it, bub. So weird.
Oh, that sucks too, because that would have been a really good one. But it would sound too close to like animism. That sucks, because trying to combine the tism or the part with anima, which is the soul.
I don't like that because that reminds me of animals, and I don't think any normal person knows what an anima is, but they do know what an animal is.
And they know what an auto is. Vroom vroom. Anyway. Oh, they're like cars, right?
But I thought they were like trains.
No, but I
Don't make any sense.
But I like the I kind of like the idea of autis being the body and schizos being the soul, because it makes sense as far as like, you know, concepts.
That's a really reductionist way of understanding.
Well, no, it's not, because like one
Absolutely it is.
No, I'm talking about never mind. You don't know what I'm saying, because like one's considered metaphysical and the other one's considered like physical reality.
And I get what you're saying, but I still think that's very reductionist.
Okay, well, yeah, probably. I'm trying here, okay?
You're doing the same thing to me.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You're spitballing. Like, we know if it's wrong.
No,
it
doesn't
easy.
work. You're absolutely right. What's a Latin word for like?
Extreme is devolving into etymology in Greek and Latin.
Yeah, because what else is there to do? Like, I'm done.
What else is there to do? We spun our loads.
Sounds sort of Jung concepts of anima. Too misleading. No, that's Then Jung gets all fucking mixed in.
Dude, it's all up in my Jung.
I mean, because technically the Latin word for like things that are meta is meta. It's like the same shit because it comes from metatism. I mean, not metatism, meta. Just meta. Well, what about metatism? A metatist.
Tism is autist.
Get over it. Get over it.
With Benny Follett? I don't know.
No. Get over it. It's gonna have. It has to have tism and tist. It has to. Sorry. Oh no, it's mine.
I don't like it.
Too bad. That's what'll work. That's the only way it'll like fucking work for the schizos like me, man. That's it. Metatist. Sounds kind of cool. Metatist. No, it sounds like Methodist. Hello, I'm here to talk about Metatism? No, I don't believe in God. It's like, what?
I wonder if I can manipulate schism to work better.
That's the problem with schism, though, right? Is that the problem with schism? Because you could say, I was thinking like schism spectrum instead of.
Well, no, you would have to manipulate the word. You
can't but the only problem with schism is that like it implies that there's a disconnect from reality and not reality, right? And that's bullshit, because it is reality. It's just a different part of reality.
Is it inherently about separation from reality, or is it just?
Well, that's when it's in reference to like anything with the word schizo or schism, or when schism on a psychological level is referred. It's usually about that separation. There's a gap.
I hear schizo, but I don't hear schism.
Well, let me see here. Maybe I'm wrong.
And schizo is like referenced from schism because schizo is describing something that's not schism. Does that make sense? Because otherwise you would use schism in any.
Ooh, well, it already doesn't have, but it has a ton of. This is the problem. It has a ton of negative connotations. Because look, in psychology, it refers to it, and it's not what I was saying, but it refers to a complex social phenomena that can occur in groups or marriages. It can involve perception of rupture in group's identity or breakdown in a marriage. So yeah, group schisms, marital schisms. So a schism in psychology is usually referring to like a disrepair, like a rupture of connection between people. Yeah, that's
people would say the same thing about
because that's how you say. That's how you say it. Like that's how it's used in like literature and stuff. You say like there was a deep schism between this and that.
There's a schism between autists and neurotypicals, right?
Yeah, but so how we should call them autoschisms, autoschists, right? But it's just the word schism has like a negative connotation, and people just hear it and they go like, "Oh, Cain, separation," right? So I don't know. Trust me, I have no problem with the word. It's just that. Yeah, there's already books called Psychology of Schism. Psychology of Schism. There's already like
schism has an aspect to it. Like I know everybody calls it autist or autistic or autism, but tism is like a shorthand endearment. So I think you need to build a word that has the capacity to be shortened as if it were a nickname, because if people can have
the schism. Really? I guess.
I'm not saying, and I'm not. I'm not talking about schism. I'm talking about the idea of.
No, I know. That's why do you think I just said
have an emotional endearment? Oh, that is not
I know.
Autism. Because people
you got the schism, don't you? You got that schism thing.
Right, because people subjectively making nicknames for a word implies this sort of endearment towards
it. So you can't just
steal the nickname from autism.
Even negative words with negative, even pejoratives, because this is what's funny. A pejorative is a means of disarming the thing you're perceiving as scary or a threat to you. That's kind of what a pejorative often is. Like it's a way of disarming the thing. It's kind of fucked, and it's not good, but it's definitely a way of those people to like feel better about the aversion or discomfort that they have regarding that object they perceive as bad. Sounds too referential. Oh no, that's right. That's too.
Like I don't know if you can use ism.
Maybe ism.
I think you need a different suffix.
It's not gonna work. Nobody's gonna remember it. No one's gonna remember.
They will remember it if it's endearing and they can shorthand it.
Well, help me, because
if you have a really good endearing suffix like tism, they'll remember it because it is.
Yeah, but tism means
condition. They have an emotional connection to it.
Tism is condition. It refers to condition. So what's another? Oh, how about this? But
tism doesn't refer to that because tism is autism. That's the public perception of it.
Yeah, I get it, but. Hold on.
You were just telling me about how the public perceives words differently.
I'm trying to find words. That doesn't work. Yeah, I'm trying to find synonyms for condition that might have a different sound to them that would still work. Because I was looking at like here, what's the?
Hold on, let me just get a degree in fucking Greek literature, so I can answer your question. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're gonna go get one? Sick, dude. See you in a few years.
Get one.
Sick, bro.
No, I'll be back by tomorrow.
Okay.
Tism, baby.
Yeah, I know. Go do your thing. Go do your idle games.
Shut up! I'm doing them right now.
I know you
are. All like
that.
Fuck you.
What?
Shit. I will enjoy my idle games.
Go enjoy your idle game.
In spite of your directions.
because of.
No.
I just found the Latin phrase for neighborhood or surroundings, and it's circumjectum. It sounds funny. It's spelled that way too. CIRCUMJECTUM. It's like it's got cum and the end of rectum in it. Circumjectum, and it's funny because J is ejaculate or ejaculation, so it sounds hilarious.
See, you explained it, and now it's not funny anymore.
I don't care. Circumjectum. Welcome to my circumjectum.
Okay, now it's funny again.
No, like imagine welcome to the circumjectum. People just run. Want to join the circumjectum? Yeah. What is this? Circumposita. It's something else. I'm gonna ask. You know who I'm gonna ask? I'm gonna ask.
Oh,
Amy.
there's someone in the server that does Latin stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
Amy.
they have
That's Amy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit up Amy. I'm gonna ask her to help me out with this one.
I think we both had that fucking brainstorm at the same time.
No, I mentioned her earlier.
I didn't remember.
Oh yeah, I had said, I should talk to Amy because she's like super into.
I was
Latin.
playing the idle game or something.
Amy's a Zoid on the Zoid Void that has your own YouTube channel. What is it called? The Latin one?
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Now I got to plug them. Even if
I'm pretty sure she only speaks in Latin. I don't know how to decipher that. Let
me find their channel. So
all goodwill towards her, but I need English. I speak it. I hear it.
She has like 3 channels for different things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like she had one channel that she hasn't posted in a long time, now like 2 years, called Internet Kindness. And then they had another one that was actually their biggest channel, which was focused entirely on Silent Hill lore, which they're like an expert of. And like behind the scenes information, not just lore, but like a bunch of weird like trivia and shit and like cool stuff. But their other channel, where is it? And do they have like a link tree? There we go. That's the one. Yeah, yeah, here we go. It's Ancient Rome with Amy. Here, I'll post it I'll post the link. This is Ancient Rome with Amy. There you go. But yeah, that's Amy's channel. Super, super cool Zoid. Very chill person. Very eccentric. But that's what makes it fun. And yeah, they do a bunch of videos about like saying a bunch of stuff in Latin. And I think they've been fucking with Arabic too. For a lot of reasons. But yeah, they're an interesting person. And they cover a lot of stuff. They have a lot of interests. But yeah. In any case, Endon means inner. Endon. Circumspect my circumspect my circumject. Didn't read that. That's pretty funny. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm done. Everyone's leaving anyway because it's done. All right. Well,
he circumjected.
Yeah, I know. But if you like the stream, if you like what I do, if you like what I talk about, blah 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 blah.
If you like the stream, you're crazy.
Yeah, all right. Please Patreon, please PayPal, give me your fucking money. I need to buy beer. Okay, buy me beer. All right. And as usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day.